Continuing on with direct services, school counselors also provide response services. So, as counselors, we need to make sure that we are providing individual or small group counseling and responding to crisis responses in an appropriate, timely manner. Only 9% of counselors use a moderate amount of technology when providing response services to students. As you can see, not a lot of technology is meshed with the ASC national model. So, however, they are working on it little by little. So it's starting to integrate more and more technology with this model. So as a school counselor, we use indirect student services. These indirect student services help us strategize to support the students, such as referrals, consultations, collaborations. And this is just to outsource services that we cannot provide necessarily for the students. So that's why we refer them out. Now, only 15% of school counselors use technology and indirect student services. I believe that the numbers will eventually grow with the technology because our world is so revolved around technology. So I believe these numbers will increase. The position on the ASCA Statement on Technology says that us school counselors need to educate parents and students of the pros and cons when using technology. Technology should only be used to assist students in collaboration, networking, learning opportunities, and exploration. As school counselors, it's important that we remember to use all of these 4 examples here in order to widen the horizons of our students and provide them the best services we can. Confidentiality in a virtual high school is key because when sharing data with other teachers, it's important to be generic and vague as much as possible. For example, using code lettering like A stands for academic. This will allow to keep students' confidentiality, but yet give teachers an idea of what you're communicating about that student. So the next topic we'll be talking about is social media and school counselors. Now I want to give you a scenario or something to think about is, do you think it is appropriate for school counselors to interact with parents and students on social media? So I will say this, I personally do not have any social media. I don't like having my personal information out there. However, if you do choose to use your social media to inform parents and students of different activities and deadlines going on there at the school, please be professional at all times when interacting with parents and students.
Student safety on the Internet. These statistics were done by Wollock, Mitchell, and Finkelmore in 2006. What we as parents, teachers, and school counselors worry about the most when talking about Internet safety is pedophiles and predators. It's not just photos we have to worry about now. Predators can target children using cyberbullying, emotional abuse, corruption or violence, abuse, and distraction or social abuse. They contact students via blogs, online forums, and chat rooms primarily. What does the school counselor have to do? They help develop school policies, respond to online incidents that affect conditions for learning, assisting the community in detecting at-risk behavior, and addressing digital citizenship, technology literacy, privacy, reputation, and social awareness. It is important that we begin urging students and parents to demonstrate safety when using online services and warn them about the potential dangers they can get into. Burrows and Sanchez, Call, Zhang, and Drew in 2011 proposed several strategies for school counselors, guardians, and students to promote internet safety as a reference for personal and professional use. When thinking of performing our counseling sessions online, everyone has different feelings towards it. There can be both advantages and disadvantages to this. The benefits: they can provide students with more time to respond appropriately. Students who do not need persistent counseling sessions, they can benefit from it. Students who are more comfortable not having face-to-face interactions or maybe more shy or socially awkward and express themselves through their writing. In a survey conducted by Liebert, Archer, Munson, and York in 2006, they found two major advantages along with all these. Individual counseling is advantageous for students who have dealt with bullying, emotional disturbances, etc., so they feel less anxious while disclosing it online because it's not face to face. The second is it gives students a greater sense of autonomy and control. This helps students feel safer and less emotionally exposed. When looking at the disadvantages of counseling being done online, there are a couple. So lack of face-to-face interactions, technical problems, informed consent, equality of access, laws differing state to state on confidentiality, privileged communication, etc. Osborne in 2007 broke these down into three major areas of concern. So for him, it was not all problems are suitable for online counseling, which is true with more extreme cases. Confidentiality is impossible to guarantee, and students in crisis are harder to help immediately, making it hard to secure referrals for them. So this would pertain a lot to if you had a student who was suicidal or really needed help immediately. It's more difficult to get a hold of them and know their location if it's online. If it's face to face, they are there in front of you, so you're able to kind of maintain and get a grip on the situation better. So when looking at the ethics and legal concerns of online counseling, when push comes to shove in the end, is online counseling ethically okay? Being a counselor uses both ethical codes and professional codes because in our line of work we can exploit and create harm or provide tremendous good. Several organizations have proactively developed internet regulations. So who is there to help us decide what is ethical? So you have your National Board of Certified Counselors, American Counseling Association, the National Association for Social Workers, the American Mental Health Counselors Association, and the International Society of Mental Health Online. And that's just who we have for now. Since technology is growing, I do foresee in the future personally that we will get a lot more organizations and associations that will begin trying to develop a more ethical means of doing online counseling. Legally, school counselors are held accountable for their offensive language, name calling, and inappropriate images posted online. In the case of Avery Donninger, she posted a blog that vented using offensive language and name calling to her superiors and coworkers at her establishment. She filed a lawsuit saying that her First and 14th Amendment rights were violated. Her case went all the way to Supreme Court, but they found that her First Amendment rights were revoked due to her offensive language.
The interrelationship between the internet and the First Amendment rights of public school students is a complex topic. We must protect our students and their personal information and records. However, using technology opens up the lines of communication and increases our chances of being hacked or making it that much harder to protect our students' identity and privacy. The most difficult of the situations is when the internet is in use and is totally disassociated with the school or its curriculum. Schools must put together or come together with campus-wide rules and policies. We must take appropriate and timely action when online incidences are affecting our students' learning. Students do not give up their constitutional rights by attending a public school. The First and Fourth Amendment are still very much the students' rights, but within reason. If they are hurting themselves or have been a threat to others, it's affecting the learning environment, or there is reasonable or suspicious cause, that is when rights will be broken or taken into question. Cyberbullying is a huge issue in our schools today. There are 5 forms of cyberbullying: flaming, impersonation, cyberstalking, outing, and trolling, all of which can make cyberbullying that much harder, that much more mean, and affect so many more students. Flaming is an aggressive exchange between 2 or more people online. Impersonations of people creating new accounts under fake names. Cyber stalking is social media messaging gives stalkers a new opportunity to contact and follow or harass people. Outing, direct access to large groups of people can make outing or sharing secrets or other personal information that much more hurtful. And trolling involves trying to wind up others online and immature questions or mean comments being made. Cyberbullying affects all races. Victims of cyberbullying are more likely to suffer from low self esteem and consider suicidal thoughts. 52% of young people report being cyberbullied, and 11% of adolescents and teens report that embarrassing or damaging photographs have been taken of them without their knowledge or consent. Because of the nature of the internet, we need to review the Fourth Amendment and how it pertains to students' rights and how it affects their privacy and being searched. If an administrator or counselor or even a teacher is given reasonable cause or suspicion that there is something that needs to be looked at or into further, that is enough to conduct a legal and ethical search. If a student is breaking more than one infraction, it is important to have policies and clear explanations as to someone finding something that's considered breaking code of conduct, but was not initially why they searched the phone, laptop, or tablet. According to ASCA, American School Counselors Association, the ethical standards, we should not use personal social media, personal email accounts, or personal text to interact with students unless specifically encouraged and sanctioned by the school district. School counselors adhere to professional boundaries and legal, ethical, and school district guidelines when using technology with students, parents, or guardians, or staff. My counseling team has made a guideline that unless the student and them have been close and until they've graduated from high school, we will not interact or friend them on the social media website. A principal cannot demand you take it down, but they can inform you or us as counselors of our ethical and professional boundaries and encourage us to take it down.
After reading the case study, I think it is legal, but there are plenty of organizations, including the American Counseling Association, that is addressing standards and codes for use of technology in counseling. So, according to the American Counseling Association, it is essential that counselors ascertain the legal and ethical requirements of their jurisdiction and that of the clients. They must also assess the client's knowledge and ability with technology, determine access to private locations for the client, discuss confidentiality with them, security and encryption, and provide alternate method of communication if that technology fails. So just in case they still want to talk, it's important to have at least one professional alternative method. So Facebook has developed a new initiative called Facebook for School Counselors. That is an alliance with the Internet Keep Safe Coalition, I Keep Safe, and ASCA. Through this Facebook page, ASCA can provide suggestions if needed to counselors while they're doing their sessions. It is important to maintain professional distance, although use of Facebook would be very convenient and beneficial for shy students who don't feel comfortable speaking face-to-face about their issues, or maybe students who have more of a knack for expressing themselves through written form. But it is important not to have peer-like conversations with students. We need to remember that we are the school counselors, we're not their friends. Also, it is not appropriate to use the personal profiles to contact students, because if you friend them or any kind of contact with them, they would be able to access all your photos and your posts that may be inappropriate for a professional setting.